Hi everyone, welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I want to show you a Christmas card that I made recently with at one of my card classes, and this came together really quickly. And let me show you what we need for supplies. First of all, the stamp set that we're using is called In the Pines. That's a new stamp set that is in the current holiday catalog, and it has a coordinating die set called Pine Woods. Now, obviously, a lot of these dies cut out the stamped images. However, it has dies that stand alone and cut out their own trees without needing any stamping. And because I'm doing my classes virtually, because of what's going on in the world, Stampin' Up! Policy prohibits me from selling card kits that have stamped images in them. So all the cards that we're making have to be made without stamped images. I usually will throw a stamped image on my sample to show the ladies what I've done with the stamp, but I'm learning to design cards without stamps, focusing on tools such as punches and dies, as well as designer series paper, which I have a brand new appreciation for. So without further ado, let me show you how I made this card. The card base is a piece of smoky slate, and I made this a stand-up card, like an easel card. So my paper is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Then I have a piece of Whisper White, actually cut 2 of these. This is 4 by 5 1/4. One will go in the front of my card, and one will go on the inside of my card. Then I have a piece of red foil, and this is cut at 2 1/8 by 5 1/8. I have a piece of designer series paper that comes from the Plaid Tidings collection, which is 2 by 5. Then I have a piece of red glimmer paper, and although Stampin' Up! Doesn't have this in its catalog anymore, you can get this almost anywhere. And I usually don't promote other products, but this is something that really made the card stand out. So I'm telling you, you can find red glimmer paper almost anywhere. And then I have a tiny piece of Whisper White, and this is cut at 2 1/4 by 3 1/2. And I'm going to cut this one, die cut this one with you, because I want to show you how I got this effect here. It's not like a regular die that you cut out and then you have the cutout image. This, you use the negative space. Okay, so I'll explain that more when we get going here. So the first thing we're going to do is attach one of the Whisper White pieces to our front. And I'm using the new Stampin' Seal, and I'm getting used to it. It requires that little check mark that the old fast fuse used to require, so that it doesn't all get bunched up. It's just a learning curve. We have to learn new things in life. Then I'm going to take my foil, but first I want to show you my plaid paper. It's called Plaid Tidings, but in it there are lots of color palettes that are not Christmas holiday. So obviously some of these look very Christmassy. That one there can be certainly a Halloween one. This one here is just a nice masculine one. This one here is a nice springtime. And this one here is a nice fall one. And that would be a nice masculine card. I have so many ideas swirling in my head. I like this one as just a plain neutral card. So you can see it's, although it's in the holiday catalog, it's not all Christmas colors. So now, that being said, I'm going to take my piece of DSP, and I'm going to attach that to my foil. And the foil is not sold just as a package of 2 sheets of foil, as Stampin' Up! Usually does. It comes in a combo pack. There are 2 pieces of this real red, and then there are 2 pieces of, I believe it's garden green. Okay, so there is that. Now before I attach this to my card, I'm going to tie a piece of ribbon around it for this little bow here. And I had my ribbon somewhere on my desk. Hold on one sec while I unearth it. Oh, there it is. And this ribbon also is not a current item. It was one of 2 that was in the metallic ribbon combo pack a few years back maybe. And it came with a silver spool and a gold spool. And I just like the way it looks, so I'm still using it. So I'm going to tie a knot. You could do a bow if you wanted, but I decided to do a knot. And there we go. And I'm going to scooch this down so it's probably about an inch up. You know what? I'm going to redo my knot. I'm not crazy about that knot. Hold on one sec. Sometimes my knots just don't come out the way I want them to come out. And that's okay. I'm going to undo it and try again. All right, I like that one better. I'm just gonna play with it just a tiny bit. Okay, now that I have my knot on, I'm gonna turn it over and I'm going to attach that to my card front. Okay. And that goes off to the left side, and I'm centering it with equal borders around the tops and bottom and side. Okay, I am going to come back and cut that a little bit. Now I have my glimmer paper and this small piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to cut that. Let me just bring up my Big Shot. Now, like I said, normally when you cut a die, you end up with an image that you cut out of a piece of paper. This one, you are going to use the negative space. So I'm going to be sure that I center my tree perfectly on that piece of Whisper White. I'm going to bring in, I have my platform, one magnetic plate, my magnetic platform, one acrylic plate, my paper and my die, and a second acrylic plate. And I'm going to run that through. Now I'm going to bring in my brush, my foam brush, that's going to help me pull all of these things out. I'm just going to run that along my die. I don't want to bear down too hard because then I will bend my paper. And the other one, they're all very loose, but the ones that didn't automatically pop out just come right out when you poke them out. And you see that? That's how we got this beautiful open tree. And that tree is going to be attached to this glimmer paper. Now, glimmer paper is a little tricky when you're attaching it because the surface is so uneven. So you do want a good, strong adhesive. If you have the old Fast Fuse, that would work great. The old Snail is not, in my opinion, strong enough. The Stampin' Seal, the new Stampin' Seal, I had good luck with that. So I'm just going to make sure that I get enough on there so that it does stick nicely. Like I said, it does have a little learning curve. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to center this on to my glimmer paper. You know, the next step is pretty important because you do want to make sure that your card is going to arrive at its destination all in one piece. So you do want to press this down. A brayer would be a good idea, or just using your fingers or the side of, if you have a bone folder, just press that in. But just as long as you do give that a nice press so that it does adhere. And I'm going to put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of that, and I'm going to place that right there. Okay, with my scissors, I'm going to trim my knot. Now, if you feel like your knot isn't tight enough and you really want to make sure that it doesn't move, what I sometimes will do is take a glue dot and just put it right behind the knot. And that will hold my bow down nicely. Okay, so now I have my inside piece, and I'm going to stamp a very simple greeting. The greeting that comes from the stamp set, it says Season's Greetings, and I'm going to use Real Red. Although my card has cherry cobbler in it, I'm going to try to pick up the Real Red to make it more of a bright, traditional seasonal card. So I have, oh, look at that, I got ink on my card. Well, because Stampin' Up's paper is so thick, I'm just gonna turn that right over and you'll never know. So I'm gonna come down, straight up. I really should have used my Pierce mat behind that because it is a photopolymer stamp set, but I didn't. Okay, so now I'm going to turn that over and put a little bit of Stampin' Seal and drop that right inside the center of my card. Now, the glimmer paper that I used is Stampin' Up's old glimmer paper, and so some of the glimmer flakes do come off. Right before they stopped carrying this, they switched over to, it still had the same beautiful sparkle, but it was more of a flat finish. So there we go. How quick and easy was that? And you can get 3 cards out of one sheet of 6x6 DSP because this is cut at 2 inches. So you can get a lot of cards if you're making them assembly style to send out for your holidays. So if you have any questions about this project or any of the products that I use, certainly contact me through my blog, www.stampwithhannah.blogspot.com. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you back here later.